a historic day for the precious metals. Have you looked at the gold price and the silver price? But most importantly, we're hearing that we could have 42, 43, I've even heard $44 silver within just the next few weeks. We're going to look at the big reasons why this is happening. First, let's go out and take a look at the silver price. Here we are at CNBC futures, silver price $40.27 per ounce, up $1.08. This is a 1 year chart. Look at that beautiful, beautiful chart on silver. Let's zoom out a little bit. Look at the 5 year chart. Absolutely glorious. You guys deserve this. You've been holding on to your metals for a long time. Those of you who are new, I still believe you are early. Let's look at the gold price here. And here we go to gold, $3,512, up almost $40 in the futures market. And same thing on this. There's a 1 year chart of gold. Let's look at the 5 year chart of gold. Wow. I don't even have to get the crayons out and draw pictures. But let's talk about a big reason why, especially with silver, we have big, big, big reasons to be super excited. The first thing I want to share with you is a chart that I've never seen presented in this manner before from Peter Carruth. He's the guy that wrote the book on silver. You can check it out, go to his profile. But here we go. Here's the silver supply and demand. I think this chart really shows the deficit in silver is the big red area. But wait, guys, there's more. There's a bonus. Not only can we now visually see this massive deficit, but I want you to think about something very critical when it comes to silver. A lot of you have been joining me down here in the basement for years and years. And by the way, thank you for being here, right? We are the basement dwellers. We love to talk about precious metals. We've been doing it for years. Please subscribe to the channel. That's still free. But I got some news for you, something that I heard this week that I think is critical for us to remember. Today, right now, guys, there is less of this on the face of the earth than there was yesterday. Yeah, that's a 1 ounce silver round from channel sponsor First Mint right there. There's less of this today than there was yesterday because of that deficit that we just looked at. And that's been the case for almost 5 years. That day by day by day, there's less and less physical silver on the face of the earth, right? Like time to melt grandma's candlesticks, or, it's the amount of silver in the surplus is being eaten away day by day. And we are certainly getting to a critical juncture. Eventually, that can't go on forever. Right? Very simple. We can look at the real complicated charts. Cup and handle. I know we love to look at the cup and handle. Yeah, sure. Silver has the biggest cup and handle pattern in the history of the world, right? It's for the textbooks. And when it breaks out, it's going to be absolutely crazy. Some people say it's already broken out on a 6-month basis, whatever. If we close the year, right, as we head now into the final quarter of the year, we've got 4 months left. So final third of the year, I apologize, right? We could easily, even on an annual basis, break out of this cup and handle pattern. It's absolutely crazy. Everywhere we look, there's news. Look at what our friend Chris Marcus shared with us this week in his daily Substack, Arcadia Economics. Chris is a great guy, goes into deep, deep detail into what's going on in the markets. You can subscribe to his Substack. I would recommend it. I read it every day. It's great information. LBMA silver inventory draws closer to critical levels. I'll let you dig into all the details, but I think there's one chart on here that we really need to look at, and here it is right here. Pull that up on full screen. LBMA London silver holdings. So the gray area represents the ETF holdings. That's like the SLV ETF. That silver is already claimed. That silver is already taken, okay? It's in the LBMA vaults, but it's already claimed by the ETF holders of the SLV ETF. The green section equals the other holdings. Some of that is also claimed, or some of that is held in very tight hands. And the point here is that the level of inventory, if you look at this, the green area continues to shrink. Now, when you couple that with the fact that we still have what on a historic basis is a massive silver short position, maybe not in the record books like we were just a few weeks ago, but still a massive short position. It is incredible. And on top of that, okay, what else is happening? Have you noticed? Because I've noticed a little change or a big change in how silver's been trading lately. That what used to be where silver would go up a lot on the Eastern markets, like in China, okay, more specifically, the Shanghai Gold Exchange. And then when the LBMA and the COMEX would open, it would get smashed down. What we're seeing now is the opposite. And what we're seeing today, can you believe? Whoa, 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 stop. Are we still live? Can you still see me and hear me? If you can, thank you again for being here. Don't forget to subscribe. That's free. Guys, this is we're up $1 an ounce in silver. We're above $40 an ounce for this in the futures market. Okay. And don't forget, it's a double plug today for First Mint, right? They're owned by First Majestic Silver. That's Keith Neumeyer Silver juggernaut company that mines the silver in Mexico. I'm so excited. I can't keep my words straight. They mine the silver in Mexico. They ship it to Nevada, where First Mint is located, where it's transformed into world-class silver bullion products. And then it goes straight to you. It doesn't go in that green section on that graph we looked at just a second ago at the LBMA. That silver goes from the mine to the mint to you. No LBMA, no COMEX, and it's awesome, all original stuff, great prices, great selection, free shipping over $199, and don't tell anybody. There's a discount code, right? VIPRB. Okay. Anyway, where was I? Well, let's talk about the paper silver some more. Let's look at what happened on Wednesday. Here we go. This is what happened on Wednesday from our friend The Dude. The silver market traded it was a down day on Wednesday. Only 471 million paper ounces. Yeah, just in one day, paper silver traded more than half of what the entire mining sector puts out. Not a big deal. Yeah, the LBMA inventories, they're down. Okay. Historic day. Let's see what else The Dude is up to here, because this is a big day. I bet he's excited about what's happening in silver. Congratulations, dude. I know you've been around here for a long time as well. Look at that. He's pulling up the prices, $40 on silver. It's gone even higher. Here, Peter Spina from GoldSeek puts this one out. Live view of gold and silver traders who are now short the metal. Oh, yeah. I heard that the boys and girls at the LBMA and COMEX are not real happy about what's happening right now in the silver market. There's the cup and handle from Peter Grandich. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to this next slide. Oh, hey, let's go over to China. Okay, but like we talked about earlier, we're kind of catching up with China. Remember, this is the Oriental Ghost who gives us the daily silver price from the Shanghai Gold Exchange. Remember, there's the SGE, Shanghai Gold Exchange. This is AG. That's on the periodic table. That's the symbol for silver. And as you can see, silver actually closed yesterday in China at almost $41. Could we, in our futures market, catch up with them? And that's what we talked about earlier, right? There's been a shift. It's going to be very interesting. We could, guys, hold on. Let's look at each other. Look, remember? There he is right there, right next to First Mint. That's the silver bear. He's got a blindfold on that says $85 per ounce. Sorry, I got to kind of look at the screen while I'm doing this. We will take that blindfold off when silver hits $85. Don't forget, the big bear over here, the original gold bear, he had a blindfold on that said $2,500. You know what people said? What did they say to us? They made fun of us. They mocked me. I got hate mail. Okay, and that's fine. I don't care. Okay, I'm speaking my truth. They said that we would never take that blindfold off that bear because it said $2,500 gold. Where are we today? $3,500. I think if I remember correctly, channel sponsor First Mining Gold CEO Dan Wilton, I think he actually told me you should put a $3,500 blindfold on that bear. We'd be ripping that thing off right now. And by the way, if you want to check out a company that has big gold in the ground in Canada, a development stage company. Please do check out channel sponsor First Mining Gold. Okay. It's a stock that I've owned for many years, long before they sponsored the channel. All right. What I like about them, and I'm not a financial advisor, don't make any financial decisions based on what I'm saying, is I like having millions of ounces of gold in the ground in Canada. Right? They have two huge projects, Springpole in Ontario, Duparquet in Quebec, but they also have the Cameron project in Ontario, which I think also has another 1,000,000 ounces of gold. Okay. They're working through the development stage. It's exciting. There's a lot going on. Okay. I don't own a lot of physical gold, but I own a lot of First Mining Gold stock. And to me, I feel like I own a bunch of gold in the ground in Canada, a great jurisdiction, a great company. If you ever have any questions, reach out to Mr. Paul Morris, Paul at firstmininggold.com. Tell him you're from the basement. Say hello. He'll tell you all about the company. Where was I? Man, there's just so much going on. Okay. This is crazy. We're going to switch over to gold for a second here. This is how much the world financial system is changing. This is gold. This comes from Make Gold Great Again. Another guy I love following on X says, breaking. Foreign central banks. Okay, this is it's crazy, guys. Now hold more gold than U.S. bonds. And there's a quote from Chinese President Xi Jinping who said, change that we've not seen in 100 years is coming. And look at him. Man, he got all of his gold out, put it out in front of that nice, I don't know what you call that, building, that nice Chinese building, and he's sitting on top of it. I think would you have a smile on your face if you had a pile of gold like that? But what that really shows us, guys, is how the world is changing so rapidly right before our very eyes, right? We don't like what's happened to the dollar, but we understand why it's happened, and it will only provide more fuel for the price as if we decide to use the dollar as the unit of measure for the value of our gold and silver. You don't have to use the dollar, but if we do, like we're seeing things like we're seeing today, $3,500 gold, $40 silver. We don't even have to talk anymore. We can just sit down here and smile at each other. Oh my gosh. These are the good old days, guys. These are the good old days, and I'm glad you're down here with me. All right, one more thing about the gold chart. We're going to look at a chart now because we are going to get technical. A simple chart. This came from Gold Silver HQ, and he's telling us the calm before the storm. Look at this chart. This is unheard of compression in the gold price. I mean, you see that? That's called I don't know what they call it, a triangle pattern, I don't know. It's, see what happens? The price kind of gets compressed within that, has to break one way or another. We'll see the big green arrow. That tells us right now where the price is going. And I forgot to mention, when it comes to our old friend silver, let's not forget the other massive news story of the week, which we will not be spending a lot of time on. But I'm hearing this is probably one of the biggest silver stories that we've had in decades. And that is that the current presidential administration and the power brokers in Washington, D.C. have now decided on the draft version to include silver on the critical minerals list. That's what the Department of Interior. Everybody's waking up. Okay. We were first. We're still early, guys. And look, I'm not giving financial advice, but just remember, if you own the mining stocks like I do, if you own the metals and they start to take off, and who knows, right? A month from now, I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but we could be sitting down here talking about, can you believe silver's only $33 an ounce, which would still be good. And I don't think that's going to happen. I'm thinking we're going to be talking about $43 an ounce. And the point I'm making here is be mentally prepared. Have a plan for what you think you'll do if the metals really take off, because it's easy to dream about it, but then when it happens, it can actually be stressful. Okay. Trust me, I've been in that position before with other investments. So try your best to have a definitive plan on how you're going to handle things, because it does look like, at least I believe, that we're in for some very, very, very good times when it comes to the metals. And why? Okay, here's the Fed. Let's talk about the economy. Oh, warning, gloom and doom. Right? We've been sitting down here. We've been down here for years. I've had this box. Those of you who've been around, it's Jerome in the box, right? There's his toilet paper dollars that he prints. But we've been talking about The R and the I, do you know what that means? It's very important. That's the recession, and that's inflation, okay? That puts him in a box. We are in a doom and gloom scenario right now. Basically, the Fed, they admitted it last Friday at, what's that place called? Wyoming, Jackson Hole. You may be as old as I am. Sometimes these things escape us. Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where all the world's central bankers came together. Oh, by the way, those same central bankers who now own more gold than they do treasury bills. Historic, right? Oh, and by the way, right, the Russian central bank, and there's speculation that the Saudi central bank might be buying silver on top of that, but they came together, and Jerome Powell threw out the biggest pile of poop-a-doop-doop that you could ever ask for. He threw up the flag. Him and Trump hate each other at this point. If you saw that video when Trump was at the Fed, and it was the most awkward thing in the world. We're done. We got stagflation. We talked about it. We knew it a year ago, 2 years ago. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. And at Jackson Hole, Wyoming, Jerome Powell admitted it. We have inflation. We got inflation numbers this morning. I could pull it up for you, but who cares? Trust me. I think inflation was 2.9%, the highest since February. I forget which one, PPI, CPI. It's all a bunch of BS anyway. But when they're admitting officially that inflation's that high, you know what Shadow Stat says. It's much higher. We have inflation. What about a recession? We got a recession. They're throwing in the towel. The point here, the big dessert tray that I'm going to deliver to you guys right now is the fact that there really, truly is no more fertile soil to grow the price of silver and gold if you decide to use the dollar as the unit of measure to calculate the value of your metals. There's no more fertile soil than stagflation. You guys love the sheeple. The sheeple don't know that. No. You know what? Let's watch my 600-pound bride. Hey, honey, could you turn on MSNBC? Right? Or any of those big news channels? No, they don't know that. You know that. You know what happened in the 70s. And in the 70s, guess what, Gomer? Huh? Guess what happened in the 70s? The price of silver went from like, what, $1.50 to $50? $1.50 to $50. Gold went, I don't know, crazy. But there's more. There's always a bonus. But wait, there's more. If you act now, you'll realize that now, compared to the 70s, we've got a fiscal situation in this country. I know I haven't pulled up the U.S. debt clock, but trust me, you can do it on your own. What you'll see is $37 trillion in debt. We didn't have that in the 70s. Look, I watched a YouTube video earlier. This guy's talking about silver, $500 per ounce. I'm not allowed to say that anymore. Upstairs, Susie asked me to calm down on that, but I think it's going to go maybe even higher. Okay, guys, this is it. This is the good deal. Okay, here, let's look at what's going on. Let's look at some data, some depressing data about the U.S. economy. And there's a lot of it. Here we go. Hold on. I got to share the screen. There. All right. There we go. The Kobisi letter. This is a great one. Follow him on X. X is where there's some really great news information now, guys. Americans are becoming more pessimistic about the job market. The gap between those saying jobs are plentiful and hard to get fell to 9.7% in August, the lowest since 2017, excluding the pandemic. Okay, so there's the chart. Look, the job market is collapsing. I'm hearing from very, very reputable inside sources, especially if you're somebody who is making 100 or 150K a year, that like some weird something, some switch got flipped. Yeah, switch got flipped. I don't know, 6-7 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, and that these jobs are hard to get. All right. What else? And this is critical. There's a big dual message in this one that you need to pay attention to that shows us the economy is also slowing. I'm not joking when I say this, right? I mean, look, I'm married to Susie. I have twin daughters. Ulta Beauty. Ulta, it's like this big chain of makeup stores, basically. It smells funny inside there. But they gave some scary news this morning. There's two reasons why. We're going to look at that. And then we got one more thing to look at. Ulta Beauty beats on earnings, but their cautions consumer uncertainty as back to school season begins. We're only going to read the first sentence in this. They delivered solid second quarter results and raised their full year financial outlook while cautioning that a potential consumer, remember that word, slowdown could materialize in the second half and impact sales of beauty products. The first thing we want to talk about is a consumer slowdown. Okay. And then we got a zinger on this one. The United States economy is what, based like 60, 70%? I forget the exact number on the consumer. We consume. That's what the whole, we don't manufacture anymore. We consume. Okay. So they're saying the consumer is slowing down. But wait, there's another massive reason why what he said is very, very scary. Or she. It may have been a she. I don't know. He, she, or whatever these days you can say. Anyhow, the other big thing to remember is that CEOs are paid to be the most optimistic they can be. So think about that, huh? Start up that old engine up there in your head. Think about that. If the CEO of Ulta Beauty is warning about a consumer slowdown, the only time they're going to do that is that they absolutely have to, right? They're paid to be optimistic. They're paid to paint a rosy picture. They're paid to be rah, rah, rah. If they're now coming out and saying, we got some concerns about the consumer in the second half of the year, think about it. What do you think that means? Okay. Think about what's going on at amusement parks. I love roller coasters. I love amusement parks. I just went to Holiday World, Splash and Safari a week ago today. Rode the Voyage, the world's best roller coaster. Amusement parks are desperate to get people in. Baseball here in St. Louis, the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team, right, has like record low attendance. Now they kind of stink this year, but that doesn't matter. In previous years, people would still pretty much fill up the stands. Guys, we are in for some bad, but how does that relate to your gold and silver? You might be asking. Well, let me explain to you how. It all goes back to the Jerome in the box. We got a situation where we're facing a recession in this country, while at the same time, remember what we learned this morning, we have inflation. That's stagflation. That is the most fertile soil for the price of gold and silver going forward. Jerome Powell is in a position, okay, that puts him in a position where the Fed needs to cut rates to stimulate the economy, but they also need to raise rates at the same time, okay, to control inflation. Are you getting my picture? They're up a creek without a paddle, okay? And the only people that are going to really benefit from that are, there'll be some other sectors, maybe crypto, maybe gold, maybe land, but gold and silver investors are going to benefit from that, okay? Hey, look, we are heading into, I think, what will be the most glorious time ever for the price of gold and silver. I don't have a crystal ball, but I sat down here 2 years ago when silver was $16 an ounce and said I thought it was a good buy. I feel as confident today as I did then, from my own personal perspective, that silver has a good future ahead of it. Same with gold, no doubt about it. And the miners are early, okay? If you're into the mining stocks, I think they're early. I'm hearing people say second inning, third inning of a extra innings baseball game coming to a television set near you. All right, let's review quickly. We got a massive silver deficit. The LBMA inventory levels are precariously low. The COMEX and the LBMA are trading on most days half or more in paper silver of what the mining sector can produce in a whole year. There's been a flip-flop, weird, suspicious behavior within the relationship between the Eastern silver market, the Shanghai Gold Exchange, and the Western COMEX and the LBMA. Countries are holding more gold now. Central banks are holding more gold than they are treasuries. That's a big deal. Oh, the biggest deal of all, silver's over 40, gold's over $3,500 per ounce. We got silver on the critical minerals list from the Department of Interior. the first time ever. It's a draft list. Let's make that clear. And the U.S. economy is up a creek without a paddle. And one final thing that is crazy, okay? And then we'll say goodbye, but don't you leave until I say we say goodbye to each other. This part, let me see if I can get this up for you. Yeah, this is crazy. Be careful with the stock market. Breaking news out of the top 200 insider trades over the last week by value. So these are the CEOs. These are the senior managers at big publicly traded companies. Of the top 200 biggest trades measured by value, none of them were buys. They were all sells. Kevin Maloney. Wow, he's got 57,000 followers. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Guys, we are truly living in unprecedented times where monetary and fiscal systems are changing like we've never experienced before, but we're victims of recency bias. I'm 55 years old. My whole life, right? Because we were partially brainwashed, paper money was valuable. Okay, but remember, there's been thousands of the equivalents of these that have been created throughout history. Fiat money systems, not based on anything, based on confidence, which the first three letters are con for con, but I'll leave that alone. This is unbelievable times. Please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment. You can say whatever you want in the comment sections. We want to learn from you. But most important, right? Come back and visit us here in the basement. We'll look forward to seeing you. Have a great day. Thanks for being down here today on what is proving to be a historic day in precious metals. I'll see you soon. Thank you.